these teams want to be playing on TV later tonight for that first seed in the group and a spot in the playoffs. So Immortals, they've got their work cut out for them, but that doesn't mean that they can't win. Kind of have to side a little bit with Bardolph, just with the, with the case that it could go either way. But Lucas already with the peek towards underpass. This is a very quick A rush coming in here from Mousesports. Not even an execute. They're just going to go barreling straight up ramp onto the bomb site.
Yeah, very, very fast moves here. Really cool to see this happening straight off the bat, just really high pace. And Mousesports, oh my god, it's already going to be losing 2 players immediately. Great defense coming in from Immortals. And whatever the plan was, it has all but disintegrated. Young man Rops, as talented as he is, he's got quite a lot of work on his hands, and he will be taken apart by Lucas.
Yeah, they never actually figured out that, hey, there was a guy who was on the bomb site, and we kind of needed to get rid of him to avoid the crossfire. Unfortunately for Rops, he doesn't realize that. He does get the 2 kills from Mousesports in the pistol round, so good on him. And good on Kogu as well, getting on the board. Lucas, though, was the star of that pistol round. 4 frags for him. And, well, now it's going to be that strong start here for Immortals on the CT side of Cobble. This is still a T-sided map. You do want to see Mousesports try and come out ahead in the rounds by the end of the first half. But Immortals right now, they're set up, and they go for triple ump. I like that a lot. Make that money. If they can. So, right now, it is going to be slow and steady here from Mousesports. And already the aggression coming in here from Lucas, showing no respect. And Dan, we were talking before the game, and you actually said that there may be a strong suit here for Immortals. They may have some kind of edge because they might not be playing as seriously as they usually do. And this kind of aggression, I mean, that speaks loads.
Oh yeah, just going full loose cannon mode. What on earth is that? Sunny should have been a gymnast. That was beautiful, 10 out of 10. And this is, this is some good damage, some good information. They have the location of the bomb. They've pinned in Mousesports, but they have actually lost 2 players in the effort. So that could be an issue here. There's definitely a lot of work that Mousesports can still do, because let's not forget, there's a minute left on the clock here, and there's lots of places they could be at this point. Immortals have gone quite passive as a result, and so if this fight is lost by Bolts, he's in a lot of trouble, but it will be a 1-for-1 here. So still perhaps a chance for Stiko, but can he make it work?
He has the time. He's got 50 seconds, but they peek, and Henny just brave. He was waiting for his teammate, was about to call him a little bit out on that, where he does take that fight and turn it into a 1v1, but Steel wasn't too far away, so there might have been a chance for the trade. Still, just wins the duel flat out, and it looks like Mousesports getting caught a little flat-footed here at the beginning, trying to go for aggressive strategies that aren't really paying off. They're actually just getting, what, out-aggressed by Immortals? I mean, Lucas right now, he's just on the hunt.
Yeah, this does actually make it really interesting, doesn't it? Because I feel like with Mousesports too, they have so much aggressive potential if they can get the ball rolling, and but they can also, as well as living by the aggression, they can die by it too. I mean, I've seen many a time when an Oscar's allowed lots of freedom, and if he's having an off day, he can really just put the team in a really disadvantageous spot repeatedly, and that can be enough for them to just lose the grip of the map. So really curious how this is going to develop, considering that Immortals from that CT start is getting that good money going already.
1 HE lobbed in, collects the frag for Bolts. Not exactly what you want when you're playing with UMPs. You want to try and get those kills with the SMGs to get that bonus money. It's kind of the whole point of picking up the SMGs to begin with. One thing to point out here, guys, is that we are watching, or rather, we are watching this game being played on the last patch. So the new patch with the pistol adjustments that has not been implemented here, we're running the last patch, and I think that might get changed up for next week. Don't know, but for the next couple of days at least, we'll be running on the last version of CS.
And Mousesports look to be perhaps on their last legs in this round. Very weak. In comes the push from the back, and that's a fantastic push from Bolts. Gets 2 kills, the info on the bomb, spots the other players who were remaining. That said, I mean, Immortals, because they've been very happy to just be super aggressive on the CT side and take a lot of risks already, I do wonder how Mousesports are going to interpret this. If Mousesports will slow down their game a lot in the future rounds just to try to catch that, and that could be interesting, because then Mousesports, a team that's good at playing in a situation where there's not much time left on the clock, it does remain to be seen.
Oh, they need to get in here. 20 seconds left on this round, and they're only just making their way up ramp. Sunny finds another frag with that P250. That opens it up for Stiko to completely whiff his shots. Both kills for Steel, and Steel definitely counting his lucky stars there. That was a big opportunity for Stiko to turn it into a 1v1, or at least make another $600.
You hate to see that. That's very unfortunate, isn't it? And I mean, Immortals, I mean, now Kogu's going to pick up the AWP. I think that's what everybody's been waiting to see. As Anders is saying on the desk, he just doesn't believe that Kogu once, being one of the world's best AWPers in 1.6, that skill couldn't still be just there lurking inside and ready to be shown here tonight for us.
I mean, talking about motivation, right? Kogu, he's had to grind. He's had to basically train these new Brazilian talent and try and bring them up. And like that's been pointed out, right? They just qualified for ESCA Premier. That's not even the main league for ESCA. He's got a long way to go before he starts competing against the best again. And so for Kogu, this is a huge chance. He's playing with talented players. He's playing on a stage again versus a team that just won an international LAN. So there's going to be a little bit of pressure, I think, on him to perform here. But he's got the right tools. He's got the necessary elements here to shine.
And we were talking about pace and aggression. Mousesports decide not to really play too much of a default, just going hard in towards the A sites and taking the jewels as they can. And they've been largely quite successful at this point. Bolts and Henny, all that remains, locked out of position. Smokes, Molotovs to cut them off as the bomb is planted happily on the A site. And Mousesports look to be able to survive with all players if they choose to, but they could also quite happily go and try to sacrifice a couple players to get the kills here and make sure that Bolts and Henny do not survive with those weapons into the next round. See, Rops is the man on the case, the lurker of the team, very intelligent player. He's trying to do it in the safest way that he can.
Really want to see Henny and Bolt stay alive in this situation, right? Rops isn't overcommitting. He's kind of just waiting to see if somebody's going to stumble into his crosshairs. I like that. No need to risk your AK if you're Rops, especially because you're pretty much alone. Stiko is working his way over here, so they will have that buddy system, but you don't want to be dropping an AK to one of the Immortals players who catches you looking at the wrong way, right? So if Henny and Bolts hold on to their guns, however, there is a chance to get a force buy here for Immortals. So this will be big here. Stiko, big chance. Not going to get it. Instead, donates that AK. Like I was saying, nobody there to be able to trade the kill. Rops didn't have the angle, and so just for nothing, really. You just give away an AK for nothing, really, and that's a bit unfortunate because now Immortals, their buy looks that much better.
Yeah, it's actually kind of nuts that they can buy here. Two of the players on Immortals had basically 6K in the bank, and with the 2 guns saved, they can get a pretty effective series of drops. And you can see that only Lucas is really struggling for a gun. And so I am curious as to how they'll decide to use Lucas in this round. With that P250, he can definitely be the bait, but also at the same time, Mousesports might read this and... Or do they think that it's an eco here? This is quite interesting. Henny's on the AWP. Fast shot, perhaps by the stairs. Gives away that he's got the AWP in this position. Great grenades coming in from Immortals defensively to take down Rops, who often is going to indicate that he's a lurker. And that's often what you're going to think when you kill him, that he's lurking on one side of the map. That's not the case. Now they spot Sunny in the drop area as well. So Immortals trying to work out what's going on, but they're moving quite well at the moment around the map.
Yeah, they are. Although, as I said, that Sunny does find the pick on Henny. That's unfortunate because that is the AWP that's gone. That was just pinned down in drop rooms for some reason. The big thing there was that Lucas and Kogu rotated back over towards A site in case Mousesports were trying to play games. Instead, it's Mousesports just setting their sights on the B site. They're not going to be changing it up. They're going to just power their way through here and pincer Bolts out in the open. Bolts, he needs to win a duel here straight up when they try and push Plateau.
I think Bolts gave away a sound cue there as well. They should know that he's here. They will definitely know he's there now. And Stiko with a brilliant peek will get him taken out. And now it's just Kogu left by the boulder with an AK-47 and 4 players to frag in 40 seconds. Not really the best position, and he will be alleviated of his troubles there, forcefully by Sunny. And I'm loving this aggression from Mousesports. They just... Their aggression might get slowed down initially, but then they just find a way to re-aggress pretty much straight away and to keep that pace high, which is really cool to see. I like that.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of pressure on. And they know that Immortals are destabilized a little bit, right? You're playing with the stand-in. You've had some internal strife. That's not going to make life easy for you. You're not going to be feeling confident, especially going into CT side, where CT side pretty much wholly relies on teamwork, on communication, on there being general aim for the team to work together as a unit. And so Mousesports and Chris, I mean, Chris is a veteran at this point, man. He's been around for ages, and since he's taken over that in-game leader role, it really seems like he's coming into his own. He's going to pick up on that, and right now, Mousesports, they've set the pace, and they're holding to it. It's been aggression through and through since the beginning.
Yes, it's actually been an amazing transformation for players like Chris J. If you look at his legacy on Mousesports and how it's transformed, it's sort of a Cinderella story in some respects, as we now see him in this position that he's in, and commanding an amazing team full of really talented and upcoming players. And we'll see that right now Mousesports just running their anti-eco. And again, it can often be difficult to drill these rounds correctly if you haven't had a huge amount of time to practice with your new lineup. Everyone has to know exactly where all the grenades have to go, their movements, their timings around the map. It's all very drill and routines. And that's something you don't have a lot of time to practice if your lineup is, a few weeks old. So see how effective they are. So far, so good.
Looking very solid. In fact, moving together as a unit, that's exactly what has to happen. Stacked up on Plateau, but that's no problem because they have all of the angles covered and everybody picking up a frag there. Rop's getting 2. Stiko, the only one left out in the cold, unfortunately for him, but that's not going to matter because pretty much everybody stays alive on the team, and that's exactly what you're hoping, though, for Mousesports. Your money is going to keep growing. 3 players have more than 7,500 in the bank going into a full buy round here for Mousesports. That's fantastic. It just means that Immortals now, they've got a long grind ahead of them.
Yeah, this is crazy. Mousesports really stacking the cash like so quickly.
Yeah, it's
and
just
now,
mad money. Look at that. They're filthy rich.
yeah, man, it's like they've got a money laundering scheme going or something. Just clean.
Chris
clean.
sitting at the top of the pyramid.
And now it's time to really sort of prove that they can keep this aggression up and not be denied by Immortals, because Immortals, I mean, they're playing more passively, so or slightly further back, not really close or very close to the plateau. We can see Bolts will be cautiously positioned up on the tree, more conservative positioning, but it can be something that falls down very quickly to a split. But that's not happening. They're actually just going to charge down all from plateau, and this is not working out so far.
Yeah, no Molotov to Chicken Coop. That's definitely costing him. The Molotov will go through in the end, and that is going to force Henny out into an open angle. Not going to find that shot, and that gives his team some chance. Oscar with the one shot brings it back to a 1v2, and he's got the angle to follow it up, but he just barely misses his chance. And now they're stacked up, and they're going to peek them together, playing by the book, but somehow Oscar still comes out ahead. And this is the big moment. Oscar, he's got the timing, misses the shot. 50 seconds left. He will collect that bomb. Oscar, please pick up the bomb. Yeah, he gets the bomb. And with 45 seconds left, there are still options here. He could wrap back around to A if he wanted to. He's waiting for Lucas to get impatient. And Lucas, taking advantage of that smoke that he put down earlier, is going to try and cover his bases. Now he's ready to wrap back around to A, and he's just going to wait for the bomb plant at this point, Lucas. That's exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, you're right. Lucas, suddenly, too much time has passed. He's like, what the hell's going on? Oscar can be anywhere. He can be doing anything. And what he is doing is he might be winning the round because he's about to get a great position with the AWP. Good vantage point. Sure, it's predictable that he will be standing here, but he's got a good advantage on the weapon versus, versus a rifle. Lucas will try to get up close. You can see he's trying to pre-aim some of these positions. But that bomb is ticking away closer to detonation, and Oscar makes it happen. What a beautiful clutch! If there is a man on the team to do it, if there is a more explosive man on the team, I don't know who it is. Oscar, absolute beast once again. You almost just know that he's going to be able to do this every time.
Right here, just straight out playing him. Hits the shot, backs out. Lucas whiffing completely, and Lucas just saw his arm up in the air as if he was about to put his fist through his desk. Not happy about how that one went. He definitely has the means to win a 1v1 versus Oscar. He definitely could have done it, but this time around it's Mousesports. Well, coming through in the clutch, 4-3, 4 rounds in a row for Mousesports. They lost the pistol, but that hasn't stopped them. And while they continue to extend their lead here, because it's going to be another round of eco coming up for Immortals. Do we have Immortals going for any? Yeah, there's a stack on A. A little bit of funny business here coming in from the Brazilians.
And once again, it's interesting because Immortals have already seen one anti-eco round now from Mousesports, so I think they're likely expecting a similar play, and they would be right to do so. Sunny, once again, he's going with the MAC-10 on a mission with a clipboard, find out the information here, do the research, and see if there's any CTs lurking around, and if so, he can get some kills on some players without helmets. That's another reason the MAC-10 is so good in this position.
Hey, look, we're seeing like the adjustments he's making. Last time there was a man standing back there, so he's checking both spots that Immortals played last time they had pistols. Unfortunately for him, there's 3 players in here, and he's just going to insta-die. That's
great stuff from Immortals, but it is by design. And now he's supposed to be players. Like, all right, rest of the team for Mousesports on the other side of the map. It's go time, guys, and they're going to hit the B bomb site, get the bomb down. And shouldn't be too much that can be accomplished from this position for the Immortals side. And all they've given away Mousesports is a MAC-10, so they can be quite happy. It's hard to see a world where Immortals get anything else done here, but we'll see if they can. There's a Deagle shot, so that's how it starts, but good positioning here and some time to play with should land Mousesports in a good position.
Perfect communication there. They get the flash, 2v2 situation now, man advantage, well, weapon advantage as well for Mousesports as Oscar finds the shot, and I think that was a collateral as well onto Steel. Kogu and Steel both getting picked by the Opper. Another frag, another 3 frags on the board for Oscar.
Man, if Oscar turns up, it's a different beast that you're dealing with when it comes to Mousesports. You really have to, I don't want to say treat the team differently, but it's like the next step. It's like the whole team can go Super Saiyan because he adds so much skill to the team.
Well, it's like they have the firepower now, right? And they're playing it as a unit. It seems, right? Mousesports, you can see them kind of moving together as a crew. Oscar is there. It used to be that you had to rely on Chris J way back. If you want to go way back, you know, you have to rely on Chris J to put up these kinds of performances. Sometimes you would, but most of the time he wouldn't. And that's where you really, you know, started doubting Mousesports, what they were capable of. Oscar, though, he really does seem to be very consistent for the team. Like, they've got him comfortable, and he's able to hit his shots.
And now Immortals in this round, they've got a double up setup, Henny's there, and there's more respect from Immortals to the rushes that they're convinced will be coming towards the B side. It is the case, the bomb will be dropped there by Henny. Lots of work to be done here. No positioning really working out, but Oscar, he's still alive, perhaps there's still a chance. It's a great close range shot from him as Stico also will be able to deal with Lucas, and operating from that position by drop zone gives some distraction potential, some split potential for Oscar to work with. That said, he's gone, but here goes Oscar again. That's 2 for him.
And he's still capable, absolutely, of winning this 1v2. Just has to guess, and he's not going to check it. Henny waiting around the corner. Double op set up here for Immortals with Kogu rotating in. And Kogu caught the flank, and that's the big play there from Kogu. Not going to get caught off guard by Stico, who's trying to work his way through connector. Just not going to happen. Kogu, as soon as he shuts down that part of the push for Mousesports, it's all on Oscar at that point. And, well, the man can't clutch every round. That would be asking a bit much. He's not Zipnix, after all.
Absolutely, and I mean, and even still, he did so much damage. He got an extra 2 kills out there that perhaps you wouldn't expect the Immortals to actually lose those 2 players, and that hurts. That really puts the pain on Immortals, and it creates a situation where they have way less money to work with, so they have less margin of error, and that's always a horrible position to be in, especially on the CT side of Cobblestone, because you can be susceptible to getting outguessed. Let's say Mousesports condition you to play loads of players B early on in the round, then they rush up middle towards A, and you're going to lose that round.
Henny has a big chance here. They jump across. 2 shots missed here by Henny. That allows Mousesports to just barrel up ramp straight onto the A site. Anybody here to greet them? Yes, Steel isn't far away. He is behind the wood stack, but Stico catches the rotator. That's bolts down. He will get the info, though. Spots out Henny. Lucas is there. Henny gets dropped, and we're into a 3-on-3 here somehow.
Great positioning, though, for Mousesports to work with. That said, Rops does go down at the back of the A site. He was one of the men that could have done a lot of damage. Now onto Chris J with the rifle, but caught in a trade situation. Immortals have the numbers advantage. 5-5, very critical round held on to by Immortals there. And very interestingly for me, again, Mousesports have been going B so often, and this was that round, as I was describing, where they're like, all right, let's hit a fast timing up to A, because they're going to have 4 on B early in the round, and then we can just kill that one guy and lock him out the site and win on rotation. And but Immortals had 3 players towards A, so that was a fantastic call from Immortals to do that.
Yeah, a lot of hesitation here as well from Mousesports, from Chris. You know, a little bit of delay there, pushing through on the flank from him. That one smoke buying so much time for Immortals, kind of treating it like a wall, right? You did have Henny kind of turning back around to it, so it wasn't like they weren't fully paying attention, but it did eliminate one of the prongs of the attack there for Mousesports. So unfortunately for Mousesports, they kind of walk right into the trap, and this timeout happens at a bit of a good time. Don't think with the technical timeout exactly. We have a Kogu sound issue right now. It seems like they might have sorted that out. But the players aren't I was about to say, right, this could be a good time for Mousesports to have a bit of a discussion as to what they need to do next, but instead they'll just get a chance to breathe because they aren't allowed to talk during the tech timeout.
Yeah, it must be quite difficult sometimes if you're sitting there with all the tension of playing but no release, you know, by talking to your teammates at all. You just gotta sit there, get into your zen mode.
I like that a lot, actually. I was just informed that the admins actually insta-mute TeamSpeak. As soon as the timeout is called, the voice server just gets muted. So, you know, it's not like just they don't have a chance to talk. It's not like maybe they can put a word in here or there. They're just muted until the game is live again. So, quick solve. Thank you, admins here at ELEAGUE, on top of their stuff. So, it becomes interesting now. I mean, Immortals didn't look like they had much hope against Mousesports until the last couple of rounds where they were able to eke them out. But otherwise, it really felt like Mousesports were steamrolling them. As soon as they got over the hump of, okay, we lost the pistol round, and when Immortals picked up, you know, the classical 3 rounds afterwards, it looked like it was pretty one-sided. So this is really interesting now, whether or not Immortals will be able to actually start to gain some traction here, or whether we'll see adjustments from Mousesports and they'll start to play slower and start to play a more map control-oriented style, or even to play a more kind of set-piece-based style, because those 2 things that they haven't been going really heavy with those. They've been trying to go play contact and initiate a lot more, as opposed to playing highly strategical and more tactical games. So that would be a logical switch up for me at this point, especially now there's double ops, and they know there's double ops for Immortals. They still have the money to buy, though. That's the big thing here for Mousesports. It's not like they are limited in their options. They don't have to go for some kind of half-buy Tech 9 rush or whatever, right? They can take their time and set up a strat. And what I'd be curious right now is to hear what Chris J has to say to the team as soon as they come out of this timeout, once they can talk again. What is going to be the call? Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about you. So he's looking over me, something like 6th Sense, ears burning. But Chris J just like instantly just looked at me. Well, we got some stats here already from the first 10 rounds of play. And, well, Stiko doing fairly well in the ADR, but it's Oscar who's just wrecking house right now. 12 kills on the board for him, including big clutch rounds.
Yeah, you can see Lucas has been doing a lot of damage, especially when those B rushes have been coming in, and that sort of forced the switch from Mousesports to actually start pressuring heavily in towards A. And Immortals had really good timings on how to read that, so they didn't get sort of outplayed on the rotation game. So it's great to see, I think, the evolution of in-game leaders in general in Counter-Strike, because when we had that coaching rule come in from the majors, and suddenly you got a situation where your coach can't basically call every round for you, which was a huge benefit for a lot of players who have to like focus on playing at the same time. All of a sudden, everyone was like, "Oh my God, no, there's like 2 good leaders right now. You can actually properly in-game lead." And I think now we've come a long way since then. I feel like the leadership generally has gotten a lot better.
It has. And guys, we're going to give you a quick moment here to ponder that, the meaning of leadership, having a historic figure like Kogu on your roster. We're going to take a quick break while we sort out the tech issue. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, from that short break. We have solved the sound issue, it seems, and we should be getting live with the game again momentarily here. It is tied up 5-5. Mousesports showing some resilience after losing the pistol round, but Immortals showing that they've still got some fight in them. They're not about to roll over here, Dan.
Absolutely, it's really interesting to see these two teams sort of battle backwards and forwards. We kind of went into the break on the topic of how I feel like both teams have been making really good calls. So, and again, considering that Immortals are playing with Kogu with the stand instead of Kenji, and considering that Kenji is also an incredible AWPer, very aggressive player, like maybe one of their most skilled players at any given moment, it's interesting to see the level of resilience, even though it's only 10 rounds that we played so far.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's so tough. It feels like it's been longer, obviously, because of the tech pauses and because some of the slower-paced rounds that Mousesports have decided to kind of add into the mix on top of the aggression. But it does feel like we've had quite a long game already.
Yep.
And yet it's only 5-5, boys. We've still got 5 rounds left in this first half. And, of course, to anybody new tuning in, it's the first to 16. So Oscar Stiko sitting comfortably at the top. Chris is struggling just a little bit. Ha! And, of course, it's perfect, though. I mean, obviously, this is actually what really needed to happen here for Mousesports. I was wondering if they're going to try and do this. Technical timeout, they can't talk, they get muted. Now we go for the tactical timeout here for Mousesports. 30 seconds where their coach LMBT can actually discuss what needs to be happening here to change up for Mousesports so that they can get a win.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You've got all that downtime, it's got to get back on the same page. I like that a lot. It's a good point, and I mean, sometimes it used to be with Mousesports that they would have rounds where like, Oscar, go figure it out. We'll sit back and let you work and see what openings you can create. And Oscar has picked up an AWP, and so he's very capable of doing such a thing. We'll see if that will be the option for them. Knowing that there's 2 AWPs out there for Immortals, I don't think that would be a good choice. So looking to see them play more map control, looking to see them play more with their grenades to pressure Immortals away from the positions that they want.
This is very slow here from Mousesports. Sunny kind of taking his usual spot over towards A long. Be kind of rinse and repeat over there. I'm pretty sure we're going to see that pop flash. Or no, he's just going to walk his way in. No, there it is. The setup for the pop flash. Don't even need to see him. Can just look at the mini-map. You see his figure turn around. And there you go. So once again, the angle. The only thing is, he's not alone this time. He's got 4 players ready to back him up here on Mousesports, and they will get control of underpass. So that opens up that avenue towards that A site now for Mousesports to take advantage of.
And Kogu lies in wait, very patient on this so far cold angle, but it's about to be a burning, searing hot angle as the peak should come in from Christian. Perhaps a flash, perhaps a Molotov. Oh, Kogu, he just has a 6th sense for it. Amazing stuff there. After waiting for so long, he just knew, gets the peak, gets the kill, and gets the hell out of there. Back in towards safety, calls for his teammates. Right now, Mousesports are in a hell of a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Kogu hitting a follow-up shot as well, and he's going to be in position to take a 3rd. Not going to be too troubled by that Molotov. Instead, he's got the angle on Wood, looking for the wall bang, spots a man in the open. Doesn't matter. Rops, he gets caught on underpass and now making his way upslope. He's the last man alive here for Mousesports. Mousesports, they just got picked off one after another. And with 20 seconds left, it's actually looking like Rops wants to back off and save his AK. Not going to have anything to do with the remaining 4 players here for Immortals. But once they got that double up and play here for Immortals, you know, it is a risky strategy. You're putting a lot of your money on the line, but having both Henny and Kogu with that AWP, I mean, it has been working for Immortals so far.
Yeah, this is really interesting because we're in a spot where, you know, it's the 3rd loss in a row now for Mousesports. And so that means that they're not really, you know, making that much money. That's $2,400 for them. And so they won't really be able to buy too much. So it's going to, even with Rob saving that gun of his, and because they don't have much in the bank, it's hard for Mousesports to do much in this round. So this is essentially a great round from Kogu. He essentially won the round for Immortals by actually putting Mousesports in a position where he gets that premature pick, and then that forces their hand before they're ready, and then all the calls come in for Immortals, and they're just so far ahead there.
Well, there are a couple of things, right? Like the timing of it, 50 seconds left, right? Minute to 50 seconds, that's where you're usually trying to make that push for info on the CT side. Also curious if he was close enough to hear the pins getting pulled.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Because he might have been like, pin has been pulled, but I haven't heard anything yet. This is a very common strategy, and it is a risky one for Mousesports, but enough about that. They're already taking HE damage here. Mousesports trying to push out on Plateau, and Henny this time, he gets his chance to shine with the AWP. Molotovs everywhere. Chris doesn't know where to go. Gonna follow his teammate into a certain death. Steel is there to line him up. 2 kills for him, and it's on Stiko now. Round of eco here for Mousesports, and he doesn't even get to use the AK. Henny, ruthless.
Yeah, you hate to see that. Not a single bullet fired, I think, from that AK. And you saw Rops as well. He peeked in, he like pre-aimed the angle, he's like dead on, staring the other guy down. And Henny was looking for it. And I think as well, I mean, they knew that there was an AK saved, so I think Immortals probably read that situation. So really well positioned from them. Good anticipation. They're up on 7 rounds on CT side of Cobblestone. And now if you consider, I think, you know, let's see, when we're into the 6th round or so, or 7th round, Mousesports looked really unstoppable.
Yeah, much like the word on his gloves there. I mean, right now, Molotov nicely timed, and he's going to take the risk anyway. What a play from Kogu. You got to love that. You have certain players who are willing to go for those aggressive peaks. Flusha, Olaf, Forrest used to do it back in the day where the Molotov is down and you go for the peak anyway. You risk it. You take the damage. I love it, and it pays off for him. Sick play from Immortals.
So smart, isn't it? Let's see if Lucas can make it worse. He's been playing great so far, but the trade does come in for Mousesports to get something done. Trying to gain some ground here onto the A site, but as we can see, Kogu's, well, not sitting there for too much longer. Gets shot in the side of the face. That push up mid was way too fast for Kogu to handle, and now Mousesports handily taking the A bomb site there by storm. Finally, their aggressive plays have been working out in this round at the very least once again. So Henny looking to try to get something going with this AWP, but now they know where he is, and without the element of surprise, surely there's nothing doing here for him.
Yeah, this is definitely kind of back off, save your gun territory here for Henny. Again, they're running that double AWP. They do have 3 players with more than 5,000 in the bank, so they will be able to buy in the next round. If you can hold on to the AWP, though, then things are looking up. Because maybe you get bolts to drop Kogu and AWP, you can still try and run that expensive strategy. And it's not looking like Mousesports want to risk losing any of their guns either, which is wise on their part. I mean, they don't exactly, they had a big bank at the beginning of this half, but that has definitely dried up. So the money, it's a little tight for Mousesports. They need to keep these 3 guns alive. So well played. Mousesports, instead of shying away from that aggression from Kogu, they just decided, right, all right, you're going to come for us, we're going to come for you.
Man, I love that. It looked like Oscar was even looking for the peak as well. Oscar wasn't moving. He was crouched on the angle. So really fast there from Kogu. Brilliant stuff. But Rops, the young man, a player that many have looked towards to be perhaps the hottest upcoming talent that we have in CSGO, working his arse off just to get better and better and better, grinding as much as possible,
Damn,
juggling schoolwork and everything. Sorry?
Dude, okay, I'm going to be Bardolph, right?
Yeah.
And where did he do that, Dan? He did that on Face It. They found him on FPL. Okay, the plug is in.
He and that was the interesting thing with it, because everyone like, what, he cheated and everything. Then he had to like go to like a LAN condition and prove it. He's like streaming and stuff. Like, look, guys, I'm legit. And then when you started to actually watch him playing, like, this guy is actually, the way that he plays is super smart. It's not like his talent is just out of control and he can hit every shot. It's just how he sets every shot up is what makes him special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's basically, when you're online, right, a lot for FPL, etc., right, when you get accused of cheating, you know you're doing something pretty good, right? In Rops' case, everyone's like, nah, there's no way you could be this good. All of a sudden, he shows up at LAN, and yeah, proceeds to just wreck house. And that's a real joy to see, especially in such a young player. It just shows that, you know, a couple more years where he can mature, get more experience, and he's only going to get more deadly. So exciting times in CSGO with the new talent coming through. And it is thanks, I mean, because of how difficult it is now with the lack of open LANs, with the lack of LAN qualifiers, you know, it revolves around these online leagues to find new talent almost, and Rops is one of those guys, like Lekro. We'll see Lekro later today.
And Mousesports not playing a slightly slower place. They are trying to take ground slowly towards A. A lot of grenades in, and once again, we see Immortals with 3 players late into the rounds on the A site. So they're very ready for this, but the bomb is not committed in any sense. It's still by the Dragon Lord tapestry, and it can make its way back towards B. And perhaps after all those A rounds where Mousesports have seen 3 players there, they're sort of faking presence and now going back to B. Let's see if that works, because Immortals do still actually have 3 players stuck on A.
This is work for Stiko, though. Is there a gap that he can abuse? Just barely right on the edge, and we'll see if that pays off for him, because once again, Immortals, they've made the call to focus on that A site with 3 players there. And so Stiko, can he draw enough? Can he keep them focused here? Yes, he does even better. He picks up 1 kill, then 2. He could find a 3rd as well. Man jumping off a balcony, gets spotted, and Stiko just laying waste. 3 kills for him, and the bomb, it wasn't even committed to the B site. Chris J, quick to rotate. We'll be able to bring that over towards the A site, and for another successful round here for Mousesports. Very well done.
That's so sick, man. I have to say, it already was really brilliant that they chose Stiko to lurk, because everyone who plays against Mousesports expects Rops to be the lurker. So if you see him coming in from A long there, you're thinking, oh god, we have to rotate. It's definitely going to be B. So they send Stiko to do it instead. And as Henny's actually trying to get this done here. He's creeping back into the A site, so we'll have to see if he can find a way to make this work. He's so far undiscovered. There's the peak, though. Great shot there from Henny. Takes down Chris J, but now they know where he is. So this is problematic.
He's got to find the shots quick. Man on the balcony, looking for it, pre-aimed the angle, but he isn't going to find it in the end, and that's going to open it up for Sunny to pick him off from connector. So sometimes, that's the thing, sometimes you have to try and make the plays. You know, there's like the wise CS where you're just like, oh, 1v3, I got to back off and save this gun. But if the bomb is planted and you have enough time, sometimes you just got to take that risk and magical things can happen. That's the beauty of CS. That's why we all get so hype about the game. It's because you will have crazy plays. It's just not this time for Henny, unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for Immortals, because it means that they will not have an AWP this round.
Yeah, and this is the last round of the first half, and just look at the sadness that is on Immortals right now. UMP, CZ, Famous, Deagle, and Mag 7 is a very strange buy indeed for them, but all they can muster to try to win this round. And Mousesports have done well to bring things back to 7-7. I love how even this map is so far between these two teams. We've seen a lot from both of them. We've seen a good amount of Kogu.
Yeah, Kogu has definitely hit some shots. He looked a little shaky at the beginning there, perhaps trying to brush the rust off, but it didn't take him long. He had a good brass toothed brush, brass wire brush. Is that what you do? Yeah, that's I mean, it's like Rust-Oleum. Nah, I don't know. We're gonna just like change up off of that actually and focus more on the fact that Mousesports are once again focused on the A site.
And last time they put a lot of presence here, but didn't commit to it. And looks like Immortals want the play, and they'll be punished for doing so. Lucas, on the other hand, having a great map so far, picks himself up a kill there with that Deagle, and steals away an AK, just grazed on the way home. We'll see if he can do much damage here with this AK. This could be the saving grace, but Mousesports have decided now to rotate back a bit, but they are running low in time, so they should be committed at this point to B.
Yeah, they don't have drop control yet either. So that's a little unfortunate here. Rops was kind of hanging around in Happy's favorite place, waiting to see if it was going to work out on that A site. He would look to try and cut off the rotators at the knees. Instead, now, Mousesports have got to start over, because it's just going to be the straight execute from them, it looks like. They do have a good nade count. They're trying to take advantage of that. Bolts is holding up close with that FAMAS, and we'll see if it pays off as Henny finds a shot with that Swag 7, and Bolts, the double kill, annihilates them on Plateau. It's all on Stiko, 1v3, and with 14 seconds left, that doesn't leave them a whole lot of time, but Immortals, they need to keep that in mind. There is still, there's still room to play with, but Steel just charges them.
Amazing stuff there. Stiko giving it a go.
Not even waiting for the bomb tap at that point, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's risky business from Steel.
Yeah, crazy stuff. I mean, what a round to pick up there. Everything fell apart. And that can happen if you play too slow. I think that's why some teams really love just playing the anti-force buy round really fast, because then you get to throw your nades, you get to run your drill, your routine, force them out of their hiding holes with those Molotovs, and then you can get in there. Well, looks like it's going to be an interesting game this assembler.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was coming in. Felt a little bit like, okay, Mousesports, first gun round comes around and they annihilate Immortals. They proceed to just chain rounds together. You're like, okay, maybe it is kind of going to go that way for Mousesports, where they're the structured team. They just come off of a big tournament win, right? There's nothing really going on. And I mean, if you want to know more about tournaments like the one Mousesports just won, Dan, where can they go?
Bleacher Reports, Mr. Semler. It connects you to the stories, teams, athletes, and moments that matter in sports culture. Download the free Bleacher Reports app and stay dialed in to the teams and topics you care about most.
Boom. And that was Mykonos. Mousesports beating Liquid in the finals. Big win. So big that Chris, he was too hot to handle. He got to get thrown in the pool.
Yeah, it is actually kind of insane, like who can step up on the Mousesports lineup. One player that often goes underrepresented, especially if you consider how much we've heard about Sunny recently, is Stiko, but we'll get to him in a moment. As we can see, Oscar, who was having a pretty good start with some amazing clutches with the AWP, has had to be dealing with the likes of Lucas, who was able to shut down a lot of those plays towards B, and he actually did tend to float around towards A as well. So Lucas being quite mobile, quite dynamic, and really putting in the punches. But he's going to have to work overtime now to help to deal with the Mousesports, who are now going into that CT side. And Immortals, they really need that pistol. And again, we can't really emphasize enough the fact that Immortals are playing with a stand-in here. Again, a guy that's a Kogu, he's not proven at the top level in CSGO, so got to give the advantage to Mousesports still.
No, but I'm sure every time he hit an op shot, Anders was like giggling in the green room to himself, you know, like clapping his hands together, like, it's happening. Markelov disappointed me, but Kogu will be good. Kogu will be true. Well, we'll see, Anders, we'll see. Because it is the second half. It's the pistols. And Kogu, he's only got the Kevlar, so he's going to be looking for a brawl. He's backing up Steel right now in drop room, and Bolts is there to clear the way as well. Bit of a spread, and Lucas gets rewarded for his patience. He was lurking outside of A long, and he catches Oscar getting aggressive, and now Lucas has got that USP to play with as well. This could change things up here for Immortals. They still have plenty of time on the clock, though. Oh,
absolutely, and Chris J's in a great position at the end of the plateau to snipe down players with his USP as they make their way towards that B-bomb site. You can see he's looking towards drop as well. There's no presence there. But again, he's really playing at advantage with these ranges, as the USP is so phenomenal against the Glock at those long ranges. But if he gets closed down upon and he doesn't get a quick headshot at that distance, then Chris J has problems. He has to get kills from this position.
Let's see, they've spotted it out. They figured out that he was holding close, but he's going to take advantage of that. Fall back onto the bomb site, putting himself into a bit of a tight spot. He's got Stiko to back him up, and there is the one-for-one trade. Stiko with both kills, annihilating the drop push. It's all on the men pushing plateau now, and this is not looking too hot here for Mousesports. Somehow, Bolts brings it back, and it's on Rops up close. Not going to be good enough. Bolts with 3 kills, and Immortals, they will win both pistol rounds here on Cobblestone.
That's actually insane. Like, how do you get just the instant headshot through the chicken coop with a Glock? How does that work? How is that a thing? Bolts, what on earth is that? Bolts, please, that is just disgusting. And Stiko is like showing so much hope for the team. You know, again, like just pop, just showing that he's really hot on his precision at the moment, but it wasn't enough. Immortals, as you say, taking that second pistol. We've got a lot of grenades here from Mousesports, opting for 4 smoke grenades, as well as 2 HEs. Really curious as to how this round will be played out for Mousesports.
What are those HEs for? Are they waiting for some kind of execute to come in here for Immortals, waiting for them to kind of group up and then spring the trap with some shrapnel? That might be it. The smokes are certainly going to buy time, so this is going to get Immortals kind of guessing as to what's going on. But then this also has an impact on Mousesports' next buy round. So unless they get big results here, I'm talking 3-4 kills, right? Make it real close in this round for Mousesports. I mean, this is a big investment on their part. And they won't have as much money to work with come the 19th round. Oscar is prioritizing his AWP, though. He doesn't have the Kevlar.
Yeah, just lying in wait, looking to see if he can just nab something. Oh, that is a big something. Doesn't get the finishing shot. That's very disappointing there for Oscar, but you get the call in for his teammates. And now this is really horrible for Mousesports because they're sorely out of position here. They're going to get smoked off. You see they're going to try to rush in from the balcony. It's not going to go too well. Immortals with all the position, all the guns, and they all survive with 5 as Mousesports look to take their pistols and armor into the following rounds.
Oh, man, that's disastrous for Oscar. Talk about a golden gift. Well, you see, Oscar right now is just like, if only we were playing on the new patch. Then maybe that P250 would have got that one-shot headshot, right? Additional range damage. We'll see. Bolts mows down 2, and they will not be saving the Kevlar in the end. It's going to be Stiko alone, and unfortunately for him, the way that it works sometimes is that, you know, maybe your shoelaces come untied. I was watching, you know, there was some gif of, like, some guy, he hits a home run, and then the bat, like, comes back and trips him, right? You know, horrible things can happen. In this case, Stiko's game crashed.
Indeed. It happens. Technology. With technology, nothing is sure. Nothing is simple. And it's crazy. It's like that time when you go away for a couple days, you come back, your PC was fine, you turn it on, doesn't work now, doesn't boot. What's that? What is that? Why do these things happen? Well, it's I think Mousesports are running the same as they are now facing an eco round, just all USPs.
Ooh, Oscar. How sick would that be if somebody went danger and he just got the knife? Considering he is the offer, considering he wants the money. There's Steel taking advantage of the MAC-10. 2 kills for him. Bolts for shame. You got Kogu and you got Henny, both of them with UMPs. Oscar finds a kill through the smoke on Lucas. Okay, fair enough. But really, you just need to be letting exactly the guys with the UMPs get the frags, maximize that money. Bolt's trying to pad the stats, though. Bolt's trying to pad the stats.
There's something like really satisfying about getting MAC-10 kills with players who don't have helmets. I don't know like what it is exactly, but it's just supremely satisfying. So it's up there on like that, you know, like that top 10 of like satisfying things in CS:GO. Like where obviously the Deagle headshot is #1, maybe.
Yeah, Deagle headshot is clean. It's got a real satisfying feel to it. And there was another one where it was like when the R8 was out, just spraying down people. That was also satisfying, but in like a more perverse way. You felt dirty, like you needed to take a shower afterwards.
Oscar is in position here, and this is a position that Kogu was using to great effect, and he was doing a lot of dirty stuff, peeking through Molotovs, getting headshots on Oscar no less. Let's see if Oscar can return the favor.
Yeah, he's got that AWP dry. Kevlar back it. He's got the angle now, and sure enough, he is not going to miss that shot. Kogu just ambles his way in there, but Lucas, that's exactly how it's supposed to go. Kogu doesn't care if he dies there, so long as Lucas is able to trade, and Steel will catch Sunny looking the wrong way on that A site. It just charges straight into connector, though. Might have been overstepping himself because his teammates aren't quite in control of the A site just yet. Lucas is on bomb site, but Henny hasn't been able to get the bomb there yet.
Yeah, Henny, though, he does get himself a quick pick-off onto Robs, which is really important, as you say. That overzealous play with the MAC-10 could have cost them, as the CTs were allowed to get some position towards the balcony and so on. But again, Henny on point, fast as ever, and it's a Mousesports looking to save. And I mean, a lot of us were pulling for a Mousesports victory here, but Immortals, they don't really look all that shaken by the fact that they have to play with a stand-in right now. You can see whatever practice they've been doing with Kogu has been definitely having a good effect, and probably the most important effect is on their spirits.
Well, I mean, it's got to be huge for you when you're Lucas, for example. You're Lucas, you're Henny. Basically, you've got a guy who's willing to just sacrifice himself exactly that way, right? You couldn't get a clearer example. Kogu walks across an angle, absorbs the shot, but his teammate is able to trade the kill, and that starts everything off for the A site. So you're setting up, you know, Kogu right now, he may not be thinking like, I have the individual skill to go toe-to-toe, right? I mean, he has hit shots in the first half, fair enough, but he's willing to do the nasty jobs that most of the time, you know, players aren't willing to do, right? Like going in first and drawing attention to themselves. So there's an example of a true veteran, a team player, who's trying to find a way to really fit in here with Immortals, and I think he's doing a pretty good job if we're going to see more of that from him.
And now we get a Mousesports timeout, which is definitely quite needed at this point. I feel as though, and I'm sure they do also, that the game is starting to slip away. Immortals have a good amount of momentum. They've won both pistol rounds. Mousesports are already up against the wall here, and it's hard to say where they can go. But let's not forget they're playing the CT side. This is the worst spot to be in. I mean, if you're on the T side, you can be like, oh, all right, we get to dictate the pace. We can construct a round. We get to play out the round. But if you're on the CT side, it's like, well, just got to have better setups, got to make better blind reads. Sometimes it's got to be a blind read, and it has to be a bit of a gamble for you to have success. So definitely not a good spot to be in if you're Mousesports.
No, you can see Chris. Chris is emotive, right? He shows a lot. And right now he's looking deadly focused during that talk there from LMBT, their coach. So curious to see what the answer is going to be here when they have the money to go for the buy. They do have the 2 FAMASes on Chris, and Stiko going to get obliterated by Steel to start things off. That's plateau control now for Immortals. Nearly gets the timing right. Oh, Rops, you're playing with fire, but you got the CZ, so it's all right. Up close. He just needs a split second here, and he can get that AK from Steel.
Oh no, he reloaded Semler, he gave away the sound cue. Oh, you can't do that, you can't do that, man. They were just lurking in the shadows. They jumped him, man.
Perfect. Now they've got the gun, but they gave up the A site, which is fine.
I was like, that was just so disgusting.
Just stay alive. And Bolts, I'm not a huge fan of Bolts being too aggressive when he's solo with the AK. When you know the other team, you know, they're light on funds. You don't want to be donating an AK over to them being like, hi, here, you want one-shot headshot capability when you're on the CT side? Well, I got a deal for you. Here, just take this AK and wreck us with it next round.
It's so cool as well from one perspective because, for me, because Rops was one of the 2 players sitting in the smoke, and he's like one of the things that he does a lot on the T side as a lurker is he'll play plateau alone. He'll play that job that we saw being done by Steel there in that situation. So he's going to be more familiar with the timings, with how people will play those positions and angles and peaks. And I mean, in the end, it was given away to him. And it looks like they'll only keep 2 weapons alive, but that's good enough.
Now Rob still holds on to that AK, so that's actually big. Now it's a question of like where he's going to be able to get the most out of it. That one-shot headshot capability on CT side is nuts. And certain players, just like they feel like God when they're on CT and they have an AK. They're like, yes, I am just going to destroy everything now. Apex is one of them.
Absolutely.
So 7-13, Mousesports trailing. Full buy coming in from Mousesports though. Oscar going aggressive for that mid peak. Not going to find anything there, however. Instead, it's Immortals. Everybody gathered up towards B plateau. And let's see. I mean, the AK is going to be in position here to rain in fire on Immortals.
Oh man, it's like almost like 5-on-4 in this situation. It's like both teams coming to play at the B-bomb site. It's like a scene from Football Factory as we've got Mousesports holding the line so far with the great use of utility, the defensive utility, and no split potential. We can see Henny's coming into drop zone, but obviously it's very late that in fact the entire team now streaming through drop zone, and Mousesports are going to have a sandwich type action going on here now as it looks like Immortals will have to force their way in towards A. They've been diverted there, but this could work out for them.
This is wild. Still a couple of nades in use, though, here from Mousesports. So let's see. Chris, he's very quick over towards A long. They might not be expecting this angle. Immortals, Steel and Bolts so focused on connector, focused on balcony, and sure enough, Bolts getting shot in the back. Chris hits his timing perfectly, doesn't take any damage, and now it's all on Steel in a 1v2. And Chris, very well played from him as well. He's going to team up here with Rops so that they work together as a buddy unit, it looks like. I like this a lot. It's opening it up, but Steel forces the confrontation, finds the headshot, turns it into the 1v1, and wins the clutch. Perfect play from Steel. Did exactly what he needed to do, turning a 1v2 into a series of duels. That's textbook right there.
That's what you got to do, man. I mean, he was the guy that basically got mugged in the alley on the previous round. His AK stolen away, and this is a beautiful clutch. Such great precision as well, and it's something that you don't necessarily look to Steel to do for the team, but he often shows you that he's incredibly well-rounded and capable and an intelligent player. And so important as well. Immortals, they keep their position on top, and now we're in a situation where Mousesports, this is I mean, they have max loss bonus, but they spend all their money. This is a must-win round, as are they all now, as Immortals are on 14. Very comfortable lead.
Now, I mean, they should have all the confidence as well. They're winning the clutch rounds. They're making key decisions. They completely faked Mousesports out last round, which was sick. And so Mousesports, they have no confidence right now. So this is where Immortals, you just got to lean. You lean on them and watch them fall. as they already start to push towards B Plateau. They've had success there. In the last round, we saw Kogu open things up with his entry frag. And Bolts is going to be the one taking the peek this time and finds the headshot on Stiko. Not going to get the follow-up, and that smoke, it stops his teammates from being able to trade. It's a little bit of a hitch here for Immortals.
Chris J looking to get cheeky here, pushing close up onto the smoke by Plateau there. It will dissipate soon, and in comes the play from Steel. The flash through the smoke, but he's spotted by Rops, and there's the steal. Once again, Rops is taking all the AKs out of the hands of Immortals, as Chris J is still holding on to Plateau, and this really stops Immortals from having any ground at all. They're going to be pushed into a desperate situation soon. They only have 40 seconds to play with.
Jesus, sorry, mate, but Kogu was about to throw that smoke to cancel out the Molotov. It's like, no, don't. There's the timing! And Lucas, he had the right idea, but Chris will win the duel straight up. And Chris, looking for the follow-up, not going to have it. Instead, it's Kogu there to trade. Still a man advantage here for Mousesports, and now a two-man advantage as they find the shot on Kogu, and it's all on Henny. 1v2 gets faced simultaneously by Sunny and Rops, and it ain't pretty. What's left of him, you see on the wall there. So 14-8, and Mousesports, they keep it alive, and they keep it alive in large part due to Immortals hesitating a little bit, it looks like, towards the end there. Not quite going with that explosive play that was so beneficial to them so far in this first half, or in the second half, rather. But they kind of limped their way in there, right? You know, one guy at a time. And that's not how you're going to do it here. That's not how you're going to close it out against Mousesports if you're Immortals.
Yes, it is interesting to see now that there's a bit more fight in Mousesports. They've gone to double ops, indeed. You know, Chris J and Oscar sitting on those. And Immortals, what will be the play style here? Obviously, they play really slow against the double ops. That could be problematic because those ops get, you know, time to work, positions to work from. CTs can gather some information, make some plays. But if you hit them really hard and fast with those smokes, then they start to become a bit weaker. But we can see that Immortals are playing a default here, just pressuring both sides of the map currently, looking for info.
I like it. I mean, it's notorious cobblestone CT, where you just kind of have to sit and wait, but sometimes you need to go ahead and make that information play. And so Mousesports, it's kind of getting towards that moment in the round. Minute 10 left. It's around the minute mark, 50 seconds, where you try and figure out what your opponents are up to. But Sunny and Oscar, he's in a bit of a tight spot here. If Henny continues to push up to the wall, Oscar could be caught looking the wrong way, and that would be a disaster here for Mousesports on this A defense.
I don't think they have any idea right now. There's a blind spot, and they just don't know about it. This could be so devastating. This could lose them everything. Here goes Henny, and it looks like Oscar will finally turn around, but just as Henny is diving over the plant pots there into a fragging position, Rops now will try to poke his head and see what's going on from the balcony. He's being spotted by a multitude of players from Immortals as they set up the bomb plant. What on earth are Mousesports going to do from this position?
There isn't a whole lot that they can hope to do, mate, but you play for overtime at this point if you're Mousesports because, again, money, tapped, and you need to make the big play here. Rops trying to make it happen. Not going to go for it. Sunny, though, will get the drop on Henny. Looking for the follow-up, and he does take down Kogu. Not going to find the third, but now we're into a 3-on-3, and things are looking up for Mousesports. Man advantage, and now a two-man advantage, and that pretty much snuffs it. Chris, out in the open, will find a headshot. But he's caught in a crossfire. He doesn't know it. He seems to have an idea, but with so little time left, he doesn't exactly have many options, and Bolts is going to go ahead and make life simple for him.
Wow, and that's so crazy as well, just because of the notion that when you're playing CT on Cobblestone, sometimes you are going to have a setup where you have a blind spot because you want to play, you know, only two people on A, because you want to have three players towards B at the start of the round in case there's a lot of pressure there, and so you can deal with it. And then you have a decision: do we split ourselves up and maybe you get picked off and play, you know, 1 and 1, or do we play 2 from one position? And that's what they did, and Immortals just had the right rounds, and they realized it soon enough. That is brutal.
Yeah, Henny hitting that timing perfectly. But once again, Bolts very quickly out onto Plateau, finds first, and again, gets traded instantly. Stiko always in position to back up his teammate there. Chris J, he's getting picked off, but so long as the trade is happening, it's looking good. Kogu, however, will not miss a chance to drop Sunny. And, well, it's all on Stiko now. 1v4. They're coming towards the B site. He doesn't have a hope, a prayer here, unless he can get them lined up, and that's just not going to happen. So 16-8. Dominant second half here for Immortals, not giving Mousesports an inch.
Wow, I just don't even know, man. We all pretty much had Mousesports with this victory, coming in with the legend Kogu, a player that's not proven himself just yet at the upper echelon of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, but maybe after this weekend at ELEAGUE, all that's about to change.
Man, it's just I wish that we had more chances. Maybe we will later.